Welcome to another Saturday night and taking it to the nub. I'm your host, Boston Jimmie, and tonight, I'm always bringing you some of the small new brands that I find out there, and tonight we have a brand called Madre Tierra. Madre Tierra is a small company. They're based out of Florida here. They do the cigars down in the Dominican Republic. They are one of the fastest growing small brands right now here in the state of Florida. They're really starting to make waves. One of the co-owners actually is my neighbor. He lives only a couple of blocks away from me. So we know each other, but that has nothing to do with the show. We're going to find out everything about Madre Tierra and this young company in just a moment. Now, before we do that, let me tell you, where I'm sitting in today, I'm going to be sleeping here because I got no AC in the house. So thankfully, I have AC right here on my split system. So it's always good to have two air conditioning systems in your house. In case one fails, you got another one to pick up until the other one gets repaired. So that's what I did. So we're good. I'm going to drop the advertisement now, and we'll go through that. And when we come in, I'll bring in John and Jake from Madre Tierra Cigars. So let's pay some bills. And today's show is brought to you by Casa Cuevas Cigars. In the 19th century, Juan Cuevas, Spanish immigrants from Santander, began what was to be a family business which now spans 4 generations. Like others fortunate enough to live and work in Pinar del Rio province of Cuba, Juan commenced cultivating tobacco, turning it into a successful business. Following in his father's footsteps, his son Juan Jr. continued with the family business, successfully expanding it until events which took place in 1959 forced a dramatic change. Years later, in the Ciabo Valley of the Dominican Republic, Luis Cuevas Sr., Juan Jr.'s son, carried on the family tradition of handcrafting fine cigars in the family's cigar factory, Tabacalera Las Lavas. Today, Luis Sr. is joined by his son Luis Jr. in the manufacturing and sale of premium long filler cigars at their factory, Tabacalera Las Lavas in Santiago, Dominican Republic. So check out Casa Cuevas Cigars at www.casacuevascigars.com and on their Instagram and Facebook channels. All right. There you go. It's always good to have the sponsors to help pay the bills. Makes the show a little easier to do. Let me bring in my neighbor and good friend, Jake, and his co-partner and business partner, John. Welcome to Taking It to the Nub. It's great to see you all again. I imagine we were all smoking Madre Tierra cigars, and I'm smoking the Corojo tonight. And what are you smoking?
I got the Habano.
I'm smoking a Rosado. What are you smoking, Jake?
The Habano.
All right.
The Habano is my favorite.
I just rated the Habano. It just came out just before the show started at a 93, which was far better than the San Andreas. I think it performed better in both construction, had beautifully nuanced flavors and complexity that just kept me interested all the way through that. Puff after puff, full volume of smoke. You can read that review later. Excellent cigar, guys.
That actually is a mistake cigar.
Well, congratulations on your mistakes.
Yeah. Our master roller down in Dominican, my wife was down there and he said, "Hey, take these back to John. I got 4 cigars for him." and he just made them special for me. After we smoked them up here, me and my buddies were like, "Holy smokes!" We call her brothers that make them. So he made 5,000 immediately.
Wow. Well, that's a good mistake to have.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what are you drinking tonight?
I got me some Jack Daniel's single barrel.
Nice.
And I'm actually just drinking water tonight. I had a few cocktails last night, and I'm just going to relax a little tonight.
Yeah, well, I had to run out. My wife's out of town, so I ran out to get a slice of pizza or two over at Lombardi's Pizza on Wickham, and then I stopped at Tracy's, actually Michael's, and I was just looking for beers. So I figured, I haven't had Harp in a while.
Harp, nice. Good beer. I love it.
Very drinkable, very smooth beer. Absolutely love Harp. I forgot how good it was until I drank it again.
I'm a Johnny Walker Black guy, and then I also drink Francelica. I like that.
Francelica.
Oh my God, I love that almond. When I'm smoking a cigar, I like that almond taste in my mouth with the cigar.
It's a hazelnut. It's a hazelnut liqueur.
Yeah, it's so freaking good.
I drank that 40-something years ago. Friends of mine, we were out partying one night. We were drinking a lot of that stuff, and I got so sick that I couldn't smell a hazelnut for like a decade and a half. It would make me nauseous. That's how bad it got me. So, oof. But I know what you're talking about.
That's rough.
It was a bad experience. Trust me. It was really, really bad. So, but I do understand Frangelica, and it is a fantastic liquor to smoke with a cigar. There's no doubt about that. So let's talk about, before we get into Madre Tierra, let's just talk a little bit about your backgrounds, because people like to know how you came to be into the industry, but what were you doing and are doing now in the process? So Jake, what is your background in right now?
So right now currently I'm actually working with Blue Origin. I'm a program manager up there designing the new Glen rocket. So the lunar rocket be about as big as Saturn V with a lot more bang. But yeah, so we're building that right now here on the Space Coast there in Merritt Island. Been doing that here for about the last year. Before that, worked at NASA flight operations. I was a program manager up there all throughout the shuttle program. Started that in 2000 all the way to we retired the fleet, and then was a program manager there at Flight Ops. So I flew the Huey helicopters, the gunships, and still a commercial pilot. So I still fly on the side, a lot of jets, have a lot of type ratings. Prior to that, I was in the Air Force. So I was started off at 17 years old right here in Melbourne, and enlisted at 17, and then went to Tinker Air Force Base. They made me an age mechanic at first. So I started out on the ground crew, even though I always wanted to be a pilot and fly. They just weren't looking for pilots back then, back in the late 90s. But did that for a while, and then lo and behold, I was overseas and got the call up to come work for the space program. And I just signed on another extension, made staff sergeant. And then I had a good boss at the time who said, "Hey, that's not every day I have one of my airmen to go work for the National Space Program." So they flew me home. I out processed on a Friday and started out here on a Monday. Did that for a couple of years, started getting real comfortable where I was at here, bought a house, started settling down, starting a family. And then, of course, we know what happened a couple years later after I was out. 9/11 happened. And then so got stop lost immediately. As soon as I saw that second plane hit that World Trade Center tower, I knew the call was coming. And sure enough, as I was joining a cup of coffee there, because I was on second shift, we had a bird out on the pad. And then once the phone rang, I knew it was going to be the news to come back. So without hesitation, grabbed what I could, and they called us back. I had in process over at MacDill Air Force Base over on the Tampa side of the house. That was our muster station at the time. So went back there. I thought I was going back to Oklahoma, and they said, "Hey, if you want to stay closer, you can cross train." So the opportunity came up, and I cross trained into combat search and rescue, so I could stay here closer to home at Patrick Air Force Base at the time. Cross trained out of Keesler, and then joined up with the PJs as an airborne combat comm. So I did all the airborne communications for a pararescue team, and deployed back and forth to Iraq and Afghanistan all the way till 2008. And then after that, got injured on my last assignment out in Afghanistan, and it was hard for me to do the job. So they outprocessed me, got a medical retirement there. But no, it's been one of the highlights of my career. And then, of course, going back to the shuttle program, I got to experience a lot of really cool stuff, man. You know, the International Space Station. Yeah. And that was, again, you know, every time I think, you know, this is the top, this is the peak, you know, something amazing comes along, you know, just like this, just like the cigars, you know, kind of fell into that.
We'll get into that in a moment.
But but that's really my background.
Thank you for I want to thank you for your service. And the only thing you didn't cover is what brand tricycle you drove.
Yeah,
but that's okay. Yeah. We can talk about that later. Hey, John, what's your background?
I graduated in '82 from Colonial High School in Orlando. And I wanted to see the world, joined the Air Force 3 weeks after I graduated. Basic training. I went to tech school to be an aircraft mechanic. And where do I get stationed? Patrick Air Force Base, Cocoa Beach, Florida. So I went over there. I worked Transit Alert, which we worked all the branches of the military, all the aircrafts. And I actually did a lot of work on the NASA T-38s, the chase planes. That used to be the camera plane before all these computerized things we have now. But they actually had a mounted camera over the back seat to the pilot, and they would shoot off across the water right before the launch, and then the chase plane would follow the shuttle up. And I used to work on the T-38s, and I knew all the astronauts and went through all that stuff. It was nice and a little bit of loss, you know, when the shuttle, we had the accident. I was actually working on a C-130 in the Philippines, and I was on the wing, and the base commander's car pulled up. And he come walking out, and he's like, Sergeant Deans. And I came down and talked to him, and he told me the news and wasn't good. And he knew from my experience that I came from the shuttle program. It was a big deal and in the military. So I worked at Clark. I did AR shop, rig flight controls, landing gears on C-130s, DC-9s. I did about a year of maintenance control. Went to a bar one night with my buddies. They flew in on a C-141. Next thing I know, I'm in C-141 school as a flight engineer, graduated, went to McGuire, and ended up flying for 6 years. Got out of the military, got on with U.S. Air as a mechanic at Newark, New Jersey. And the Gulf War started to break out. I got put back on active duty to fly all that. Got out from that. Delta Airlines hired me, and I ended up my career with Delta.
There you go. So
real quick.
I thank you for your service too. And what's fun here is we have 3 aero kind of guys in the room, because my background for almost 20 years of my life was with Northrop Grumman, designing and developing the Joint Stars aircraft. I was an engineer there. And I have my fingerprints on a number of things that helped us win the first Gulf War, but we won't get into all those details.
Yeah, sure.
I provided the hardware. You guys used it. We worked it together, and we're all in this in one happy family.
Heck yeah.
And now I'm actually in the process of pushing out a solution for my company on airworthiness. And when you talk about sustainment, I just went to a conference last week in San Antonio, and you might know this, John, but a lot of people don't realize this, but 25% of the DoD maintenance budget goes to fix corrosion.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Corrosion's a big battle, right? Always fighting it.
Even with the major airlines and stuff and everything.
Unbelievable amount of headaches you have with corrosion with airplanes. They just, to fix that, and then you got to recertify it. And
they got when I was at Delta, they got 9 bays with the aircraft in each bay, sometimes even 1.5 aircraft. And all under corrosion control. They come in there for the checks, and you're drilling rivets out, grinding corrosion, getting it inspected, and put it back together around the clock.
Yep. Around the clock.
So now, how did you guys get together? So so you kind of have a kind of a similar background. So sure. I don't know if your paths crossed before. You met each other at a bar one night smoking cigars, but how did you guys get together and meet each other and come up with the desire to lose all your money in the cigar business?
Yeah. So you want to go, John, or you want me to take it?
I'll hit it real quick, and then you can add to the rest of it. I I've only been doing the cigars for about 7 months, and I'm hooked up with a group called CVA, it's Concerned Veterans of America, and I do a lot of events with them, and they prepay for the cigars, and they have me come to these events, and they buy like 100 cigars at a time. I go there and I pass them out to all these vets, and it's been really nice. They do 1 or 2 events with me a month, so they asked me to go to Merritt Island. So I go out there, and it was Jake's VFW, and me and the wife went, and it wasn't a big showing. Maybe they had like 10 guys, but we were there, shoot some pool. We smoked some cigars, and we got to talking, and he's like, you got to put me on as a partner. And I really didn't want to do this as a partner, but me and the wife went home and talked about it. And we're like, we're doing the mom and pop stuff right now. And we got a few little things going, but we're never going to get big. If we want to get big, this guy here knows everybody. And I think this would be a good thing. His personality is awesome. We just hit it off. It was like, we were sitting there. We're like, you know what? We've known each other for 25 years, and we've only known each other 25 minutes.
Yep. He's got an infectious smile, Jake.
Yeah. I've never met a stranger. Yeah, I guess I have the gift of gab, right? But yeah, that's basically how it was. I mean, I've been smoking cigars, probably most of my career in the military too. They would hand you a carton of cigarettes, and I was like, "What's this?" But no, my family, my dad's Colombian, so we kind of always been around the industry, of course, coffee and good stuff. And my family actually owns Senior Company Liqueur down the island Carousel too. So, it's kind of always been in our blood, to be very family oriented and, kind of take care of each other. So the military was just kind of an extended family of mine. And of course, being a combat vet, at the VFW, I'm the senior vice commander here at Post 8191, and smoking cigars just kind of went along with combat and playing golf and fishing and hunting and everything else we do, right? All the extracurricular activities. So we were sitting around the post, and we're not smoking post, but in the back we have a pool table and a lounge and everything. Some of the games are back there, and we listen to music, carry on, have a good time, wake up the neighborhood till wee hours of the morning. But anyways, we were back there one night, and I don't think anybody at the post smoked cigars until I got there. So when I got there, I kind of joined the post kind of late. I always kind of stayed away from places like that. And then my wife was like, got to get you up there. And finally I was up there actually for one of our HOA meetings. And as I was walking out, one of the gentlemen there, Gary, who recognized the wings on the back of my backpack, was like, "Hey, you combat vet?" I said, "Yes, sir." We started talking, and then sure enough, he taught me about the VFW for a little bit, and I had a DD-214 in the back of my car and gave it to him, and wife was getting nervous because I hadn't come home in a while, and she said, "You all right?" And I said, "Yeah, no, I'm at the VFW." She goes, "You know what? Stay. It's probably the best thing for you." So sat up there for a while, but anyways, long story short, after I joined the VFW, I introduced cigars to the VFW, I think, over there, and now if you walk in there now, I think most of the guys are carrying around their mobile humidors and a good pack of cigars, and we're extending out to the post now.
Wait, this is the same VFW
same
that we have
VFW.
the meetings at? How come
Yes,
I'm
sir.
seeing these guys on a Tuesday night when I'm in
Yep.
there?
Yep, big followers of yours, Jimmy. Big followers of yours.
All right,
so.
I'm gonna have to make myself known. We're gonna have to have an event there.
Yep, you definitely. So that's kind of
have an event.
That's what happened. So we were sitting around and we were like, we ought to have a bourbon and cigar kind of a pairing thing. And so we did some research and we ran into John, and John volunteered to come up with CVA. And at the VFW, it's just like any veteran organization, American Legion, whatever it is, it's always about giving back, and it's really, it's not only a place of refuge for some of us combat guys, coming back, but it's also a place where we can go and just kind of be with our brothers and sisters, and talk about things that we can't talk about with other people. But it's also a networking establishment, right? So we always try to help one another. I mean, I've helped many folks get jobs with Northrop Grumman and NASA and other places, through my connections. And it was the same thing, So when John came down there and we had the bourbon and the cigar kind of pairing event, we just hit it off. And I'm telling you, within like 5 minutes from the first time we had a smoke together, he's in aviation, I'm in aviation, I fly helicopters and jets, and he's a maintainer, and our careers kind of started off the same way. We wanted to do something else in the Air Force, and their wisdom decided us to go this path. So, it's amazing how, the world is small, but I always say the military is even smaller. And you just kind of connect those dots and make those connections. And we just hit it off. And this is something that I mean, I've always wanted to get into it. I own several other companies on the side, managing private jets and whatnot. So I've made a lot of connections, and, I've never really kind of done anything on my own. I've always made millions for other people, Northrop Grumman's, NASA, whatever, but I've never really kind of stormed my own path. And, just talking to John and meeting his wife and family, we hit it off, and it's just, I just felt like they were just one, right? It was just, this is the moment that we had to get together. So I just kind of begged and pleaded, was like, man, we got to do this. And I have so many plans and so many ideas, and, I'm like an Energizer bunny. And so John kind of reels me back sometimes, but it's good. I mean, it's been a great relationship, and I knew he had a great product from the moment it hit my lips. And hearing his story, it's been wonderful.
So John is the one that created Madre Tierra.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
In a way, yeah.
And I'll say just for the hell of it, because you heard it here, Mother Earth. All right.
Yep. Mother Earth. That's right. Mother Spanish. Earth. Very good.
So, but you said kind of. So this is the question I have. So the one missing link in this story starts with John, brings you in as a partner. You are having these made as you proclaim that you have this made in a factory, Equadom, down in the Dominican. Okay. Mm-hmm. And Equadom's been around, it's vertically integrated. They've got fields, processing facilities, factory, 20 years, a couple of decades at least doing this. Sure. But it looks like they're really all about this cigar right now. They
are. If I can tell you a little bit how we got into this. I married a Dominican woman about 5 years ago, and her brother owns just tons of plantations, not only tobacco. He does bananas. He's got farms for the animals and everything, but his passion is tobacco. He's been doing tobacco for about 40 years. So really, I got into this business through my wife, through her brother. So her brother actually owns everything. But he says it's ours too. And he's the nicest guy you ever met. If you know about the cigar industry, the 55% of all premium tobacco or cigars are made in Dominican Republic. In Dominican Republic, there's a town called Tamboril. Tamboril is the capital.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that.
Yeah, it's the capital of cigars, and there's 103,000 people there. But 90% of that 55% is done in Tamboril. So
Tamboril is where, for people that don't understand what John just said, Tamboril is pretty much in what's called the zona, which means that everything that's made there must leave there. Okay, you literally, it's like going in. They sweep under your car. They look in your car. They look in the trunk when you leave. You're not allowed to leave with cigars, okay? Because everything is, because of the taxation, it has to leave there and get sent out to wherever it's going in the States or wherever else they're going, as opposed to places in Santiago to have their own factories and they're not in that zone.
So my brother-in-law ran for election 4 years ago. And he ran for mayor of Tamboril, and he won 93% of the vote.
So your brother is the mayor of Tamboril.
Yes,
exactly.
I mean,
the stars aligned.
I mean, we got a really good hookup. He's probably one of the nicest guys you ever met. He has all this tobacco, all these contacts. We have stuff in Ecuador. We have stuff in Dominican. He supplies me. I got 10,000 cigars right now, probably sitting in Miami. Waiting to clear customs on Monday.
Yep.
And he just sends me what I want, and no questions asked. He's a nice guy, and so that's how I got into it. If it wasn't for my wife, and me and her never smoked in our lives, never smoked, and he asked us 5 years ago to do this, and we said no. And then we went down there. We said, you know what? Let's give it a shot. We went and got our import license and all our state licenses. We got everything all set up, and that's a big process. And we got everything done. But if it wasn't for my wife, she does really, really good with this business. The masterpiece on Facebook, doing videos, photos. She goes nuts, and she actually smokes more cigars than me.
So that's where I was trying to connect that dot too, from Juana to you, because I saw all of that. Some of the information that Jake sent me, I was sitting there going, I couldn't
Yeah.
get all the names straight,
Yeah.
as to, how this was all playing. So now it makes a lot more sense.
So basically, it's her brother, her, me, and Jake, and that's it. With all the workers that we have.
Yep.
So you're basically de facto into Equadom and the cigar. Now, so he's doing the blends. You guys didn't work on any blends. These are blends that they worked on that they're
over 40 years of getting down pat. He is kind of like the Don Juan of cigars. He's very particular. He's very precise. He likes everything expensive, nice everything. And he really, really loves his cigars. And he's taken so many years to get it down and getting the blends and everything. It's took him 40 years. He sells to many of the big companies. Arturo Fuente, we sell lots of tobacco to. And he does all the major companies. They come to him because he's very well known. And
I think I met him. I probably met him at the 10th anniversary party for one of the factories that just opened up. That they built a brand new factory. No. It was man, why do I draw blanks in my old age?
Yeah, it's all good.
His name is Lisandro de la Cruz, but everybody calls him Lizzo.
Lizzo.
Yeah. And what a great guy he is. And he comes up here. He'll if I had an issue with my humidor when I first started off, he jumped on an airplane and flew up.
Yeah. So when it was DBL Cigars. So DBL Cigars, Dominican Big Leaguer, they're there, and they just opened up a new factory, and I think they might have had the mayor of Tamboril there. They're not. I don't think they're in the La Zona. They have their own private area. They also have the box factory there, so they have that box factory that they've partnered with, and now they have one-stop shopping for cigars and boxes and everything. And they make the boxes for all these big brands too, which is it's all a little family. Everything's just like
it is.
Everybody's kind of connected.
We one of his best friends is the leading prosecuting attorney in Dominican, and he built his house on the side of a mountain. And every night, about 20 or 30 guys drive their little motorcycles, their cars, all this stuff, everything. And they're all lawyers, cigar owners, something to do with the cigar business. And they go up there and play dominoes every single
play bones. And did you tell like Equadom?
The house up on the mountain with the pool outside. There's a big pool outside. There's a pool outside that house on that mountain range, on that mountainous area, right?
I couldn't hear none of that. I was breaking up.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me? Can you hear it now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
So is that the house that has like you drive up a hill, okay, and then there's like the house has like there's like a pool outside.
There used to be a pool
and a big outside
right, but they've gotten rid of it.
Okay, maybe it's not the same one I'm thinking of.
But it's under construction. But the guys built this big thing, and all we do is sit up there and play dominoes all night. They order chickens. The motorcycles bring the chickens up to us, and French fries and plantanos and the whiskey, and we sit up there every single night and play dominoes.
That's
all
awesome.
the mofongo up and just sit back and
there you go.
Chow down.
All these guys are there. This is all the money of Santiago is there. All the big guys, the big hitters.
I love going to Santiago area, man. I've been there quite a few times, and every time I go, there's something else I see, and we do.
Oh yeah,
people are so friendly, and very generous. And
so, if you ever get a chance to go down there, let us know.
Yeah,
I will. And I'll get you set up. We can go look at the place, all the factories to wear out, and
sure. And that would be a blast.
Heck yeah.
Lizzo's a great entertainer. He knows everybody. Actually, real quick story. When I first met him, he had us over at his house, and everybody was drinking rum, and he got me started on scotch. He's the guy that got me started. So he pulls out a bottle of scotch, 750 milliliter bottle. We started drinking it. It was so good, and it said 25 years on it. I'm brand new drinking scotch. So we're drinking it. I took a picture of it. Me and the wife, we drank the whole bottle. Me and him. I go home. I wake up in the morning and no hangover, nothing. I said, Juan, when we get home, I got to buy this bottle. So I looked it up on Total Wine, $3,000.
Yeah.
Boom.
Oh,
now you're in the big leagues.
he didn't even question nothing. It didn't break a sweat on him. He's like, hey, if you enjoyed it, you had a good time.
But that's family, right? That's the way family is. That's the way, same way you go to Colombia, it's the same thing there too. And you don't ask questions, you just enjoy.
All right, so
even in Tamboril, they have bad Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
The Wi-Fi, that's terrible. Lizzo went and built a Wi-Fi tower for the community, had it put in and everything, and it's for everybody.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the kind of guy he is.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
that's why he's mayor.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's up for election now. He's gonna win.
I told him, I got a private joke with him. I said, we're gonna have to change the label in about 8 or 10 years. And he's like, so what? And I said, El Presidente.
Yeah, El Jefe.
El Jefe. Well, you probably can't do that because that already exists.
Yeah,
let's not go down
that.
Let's not get hurt with the trademark here.
That's
guys.
right.
But it's just a joke though, because he on such a roll. I see him as going into being a senator and stuff like that, and moving on and stuff and everything. Because he's just that good of a guy.
Yep.
Well, speaking of family, I'm gonna roll one more my last round of advertising. Bring in the sponsors, and then when we come back, what I want to do is dig now into how you're marketing, how you're pushing this out, how are you doing with sales, and what's your kind of strategic view of how you're going to attack this now that you're in the business to make money.
Sounds good.
All right, so let's go roll some advertising. And today's show is brought to you by Bocock Brothers Cigars, a new and active brand founded by two Honduran brothers, Bryant and Douglas Bocock. The brand zeroes in on those folks that are looking for easy-to-smoke cigars inspired by unusual circumstances. Very importantly named after their very interesting and imitable last name, Bocock. Right now, Bocock Brothers is featuring their signature edition, made at the A.J. Fernandez factory in Esteli, Nicaragua. It features an Ecuadorian Sumatra wrapper, a Nicaraguan Habano binder, and a Nicaraguan filler. Available in 3 popular formats, a Robusto, a Toro, and a Gordo. You can check out Bocock Brothers Cigars at www.bocockbrothers.com. And today's show is brought to you by Platinum Nova Cigars. Platinum Nova is a family-owned and operated premium cigar company. Only the highest vintage tobacco and the most skilled hand workmanship go into the making of each Platinum Nova cigar. This results in a timeless blend of art and craftsmanship. The Nova brand and the family's work are a tribute and an honor to their grandfather to always remember him and his infinite passion for the finest cigars. Their love for cigars started with their grandfather, a dedicated master blender and entrepreneur in the cigar industry. So the next time you're looking for that exquisite cigar experience, pick up a Platinum Nova. You can check them out at Platinum Nova Cigars, www.novacigar.com, and on their Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter channels. This episode of Taking It to the Nub is sponsored by the Box Press Cigar app, the ultimate cigar smoking experience. With Box Pressed, you can easily catalog cigars with your own virtual humidor, quickly rate and record notes for any cigar using the Smoke Session feature, receive intelligent cigar recommendations based on your personal taste profile, and access exclusive discounts from top cigar brands. You can even shop your favorite cigars directly in the app, then automatically sync the order to your virtual humidor, plus so much more. Download Box Press today by typing bxpr.sd/install into any web browser and discover the world of cigars like never before. That's bxpr.sd/install. And today's show is brought to you by All Saints Cigars, a company founded in 2019 and headed up by industry veteran Mickey Pegg and his 2 friends, Martin Corboy, a successful restaurateur, and Frank Leo, an Air Force Academy graduate military veteran. As Mickey explains it, they were all sitting down, talking and smoking cigars, and finally they decided that they would do this thing together. It was time. Mickey said, I decided if I'm going to work hard at it, it should be something I love. Besides, a tough day with a cigar is better than a great day doing anything else. Soon after, they began the process of launching All Saints Cigars, jokingly referring to themselves as the Holy Trinity, St. Michael, St. Martin, and St. Francis. They chose for their logo the cross of St. James, the patron saint of Nicaragua, the country where their cigars would be produced. You can check out All Saints Cigars at www.allsaintscigars.com.
Before you light your next cigar, be sure to check out Cigar Medics, the makers of the patent-approved humidimeter. The humidimeter is a tool designed to display the relative humidity inside your cigar. With this device, there's no more guessing. Simply insert the probes into the foot or cap of your cigar, and you can instantly know if your cigar is ready to be smoked. Buy now on cigarmedics.com and see site for other cigar accessories. With the humidimeter, you'll know when to hold them and know when to smoke them.
All right, let's get back to the group. So, excuse me, the All Saints thing is kind of like you guys.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Great day of cigars, man. It's better than a great day of work, man. If you love what you're doing. So you launch this brand, you bring it in, you get a few local shops. Obviously, we all have our friends in the business locally. That's step one. Step two, where you going? What's your attack? How you going to make it happen?
John, you want to take that one or you want me to do it?
I'm going to let you, I'll let you do this because this is more up your speed.
Sure. So like John said, I mean, we're starting off small, right? We hit the local shops here. Big shout out to Lou with Cigar Ring 72. We had a big event there last week at he does these cut and lights. And so we started off kind of low tier status, if you will. I mean, we're brand new in the industry, but it was one of the biggest nights he had. And I think Lou can vouch for this and Shirtless Mike and others. I mean, that was one of the biggest events they had. We brought in Dominican food. I mean, the place, it was just popping, right? So we knew right then we had a big hit. From there, we just kind of made some additional connections, talked to some of the local shops here, started getting into some of the shops, and now we're kind of spreading out to some of the larger distributors. So I know John has a couple meetings and still waiting on a phone call from one of the largest distributors here in the U.S. So it's really kind of grown exponentially, kind of faster than we've been able to keep up. But so far we're treading water, but we can see that there's big things coming. We got a couple big events coming up that we've already signed up. Our September's pretty much already booked, I think, into October, and John can vouch for that as well. I know we'll be at the Georgian Dragon coming up there. We got invited to their Monte Cristo club that they're having, so the 14th we'll be out there introducing the cigars. The owners love the cigars. They're going to start putting our product on the shelves there, again, with some of the local places down here. We're meeting up with Tom from Executive Cigars, again, here locally in Brevard County. Started off in Sanford and down here on 192 in Melbourne. So they'll be putting our cigars on the shelf. And then, like I said, we'll be, I think we got a couple, let's see, we got Mel Taylor from WJR, the rock station in Orlando. We'll be at Champions Gate at the end of the month. That's September 29th. We always like giving back to the community. So you'll see our cigars. We sponsored some of that event. We'll have, of course, a golf cart, nice gals hanging out cigars while we're playing golf for the weekend, clubbing out cancer for that event. And then we have several come up, right, John? We have the Marine Corps Ball in October. Haines City, I think the first annual Haines City Wine and Cigar Fest will be there.
That's in 2 weeks from today.
Yeah, that's around the 24th. Yep.
Yeah, that's downtown Haines City. It's their first annual. They're bringing in some bourbon makers, some wine makers. I think they got 5 or 6 cigar vendors that are coming in. It's in the main square at the park they have there in the main square, and it's from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. I can't say enough about the Cigar Quarter. Very nice establishment. Anthony and his wife run a really nice place there for a small town. It's pretty cool. They got a lot of people coming in, and he's carrying our cigar there. We have 2 boxes there, and what we did was split the boxes up. and tomorrow we're adding another box. We're going to have 3 boxes there. I keep driving down there too much. So I said, you got to put some more cigars in here.
Well, if you're driving over there, you should stop in Lakeland and go to Cigar Life.
Yeah, I heard about that today.
They were my number 1 cigar lounge a few years ago. So
awesome.
I was with
we'll
Don.
check
Drop
that
my
out.
name anytime you want, if it helps.
You got it.
I was at Don Poncho's today talking with Dan, and I don't know if you know Dan from Don Poncho's, but he's got a lot of insight, and he told me a lot of places to go to, and so I take notice of that. He was my first place I ever put a cigar in for sale. And he's an excellent guy, and he's also a war vet, and seems like there's a lot of war vets that smoke cigars. So
well, yeah. And being in Florida, being in the Florida market is good because you guys are local. It makes the travel through Florida that much easier. It's a very large market, so it's a great place to kind of get your game started. But we're not stopping there. I was going to say, now we have branch out. Where do you go from Florida?
Well,
exactly.
Well, okay. I was going to say, let me add one thing we were talking about. We do that CBA event every month with them. One of the events I do is at a country and western bar in Miami, and it's called PBR Country Bar, and they have 14 of them across the United States. They're in St. Louis, the Brave Stadium in Atlanta. They're in Philadelphia. They're in different places, and it's owned and operated by Pro Bull Riders Association.
Yep.
So I've been going down there doing the events, and they've had some big managers coming through and stuff and everything, and they wanted to put a cigar into their club. Start off with Miami and see how it goes. And they got in talks with about 10 cigar businesses and worked its way down. My advantage was I was already doing an event there every month. So I was wining and dining them with cigars, all these big wigs, and I was giving them out and everything. So they called us in last Friday when I was down there, and he sat me down. He goes, you and this other big company, and I won't mention the name, but it was a very big company it came down to. And they've been in business for over 150 years. And
that narrows things down.
Yeah. and we won.
Respect.
we won. And so next Thursday, the following Thursday, we'll have our humidor in there, and we're going to start selling cigars. And if it goes well, they want us to branch out to all 13 PBR bars across the United States.
Is there a PBR bar in Texas? There must be.
Yeah, I think he said it's in Dallas.
Absolutely. Dallas, Fort Worth, probably Fort Worth if it's bold, right?
And they're very big, and they're very nice to me. They love me and my wife coming down there and stuff and everything. Very nice people, and to give us a break like this is very cool. And we got on with one of your competitors in the podcasting. They had us on last week, and he hooked me up with a broker. Good. And so that broker's working with us. And then Jake's got a broker out of Mississippi. Is that correct, Jake?
That's correct. Yep.
So we're going to start off with a couple brokers, or try to work some deals with these brokers to start getting our product out there.
Yep.
We want to be new cigar of the year.
So you're looking at you got Florida, you've got Mississippi, you got Atlanta area.
And we're going to be up in the New England area, up in the Boston area too.
In the Boston area.
Yep. And we've already sent
tough market, the Boston area.
Is.
There's not many up there.
Yeah, I think we have a big event coming up there, correct? I think in January. Isn't there like a great smoke out or something up there, John?
February is Hackapalooza.
Yep, Hackapalooza. That's it.
Hackapalooza.
Yeah, yep. What they do is I guess there's like 20 cigar bars within a 5-mile radius.
In Massachusetts? There's only 6 cigar bars in the whole state, I thought.
Yeah. They go to one place to another, and it's a whole Friday, Saturday, Sunday morning kind of a deal.
He must cut over into New Hampshire.
Yeah, and possibly. I have no clue. But
maybe Rhode Island. Maybe Rhode Island too.
I got invited. We're going up for that.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's nice. We got I just did the Veterans Organization because of the cigars, because we fund them with the cigars. We went to the Orlando soccer game 2 weeks ago for Military Appreciation Night. We've also been invited for Veterans Day to go to Tampa to see the Lightning play in a box. and they asked us to spend the night because they have a box at Tampa Stadium when the Buccaneers are playing at 1:00. So we're going to be doing all that too. So
now, have you also looked at talking Tampa? Have you talked about Heritage Festival in the end?
We haven't yet. It's just we've been overwhelmed in the last month. We have literally haven't had any sleep.
That's a good thing.
I don't think we've slept since the cutting light.
I got like he was saying, I just got an agreement, a verbal agreement for the Marine Corps ball for their 248th happy birthday ball. And I believe that's November 3rd or 4th. It's a Saturday.
Yeah, that would be a birthday time for the Marines.
They're pre-ordering 400 cigars from us. And then they want us to also have available. So when the generals and everybody, these big wigs are there, they want to buy cigars. We have cigars available for them.
Yep.
So how does it feel? How does it feel to go from doing your day-to-day jobs where you're a grunt, you're this, you're that, you got bosses you got to talk to suddenly moving into cigar celebrity status where people start wanting you in? You got to make your face known. You're the brand owner. I always love listening to the young brand owners because suddenly, this is the only industry I know where you sell your cigar to a shop and then you got to go to the shop to sell your cigars. But people love talking to the brand owners and learning about your story and about your cigars. And how's that feel now? What's it like?
It's really cool because I'm going to some of the nicest clubs, restaurants. I'm meeting these people that I would never have met. My biggest thing is when I'm in the Dominican Republic. Everybody knows her brother and my wife, and now they're starting to get to know me, and I'm constantly bothered. And which I like. I like all the people coming around me and everything. But they're like, hey, you want to import my cigars? You want to import my cigars? You want to? And some big people talking to me, and hey, let's go out to dinner tonight. Let's go out here. Let's go dancing. And it's been kind of cool. It's like a little celebrity status. And
it is.
It's getting bigger and it's getting better.
I think if I could sum it at one where I'm just humbled, right? I mean, I've always kind of been around the big wigs a little bit, just kind of the roles and responsibilities that I've had working with the government and outside the government. But man, the cigar community, it's been a humbling experience, and I'm extremely grateful. They really kind of welcome us with open arms, and like John said, it's tough to get into it, right? There's a lot of cost up front. If you don't know anybody, it's a struggle, and just knowing, just figuring out if you have a good product or not, right? Getting an honest feedback answer. And so that's why, we try to, we give cigars away like crazy just because we want that feedback, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent, because we really want to perfect it. And we want everybody to enjoy it as much as we enjoy it, and just giving back, just like every veteran organization too, it's all about giving back. So if there's anything we can do to make it better and give back to the community that's given so much to us, why not? It's been a really humbling experience, and it's been a roller coaster, and it's been a ride, and I'm telling you, grown just exponentially. Right. I never in a million years have I thought, John and I just met, like I said, a couple months ago. And then when we joined up as partners, it's just been like, I don't think we've slept yet since that event.
We also got some endorsements. We also got some endorsements working. I got teamed up with a guy that was a WWE wrestler. He was world champion. He's from Cuba. We went and watched him wrestle, and we were going to talk to him about doing cigars. And he's doing an interview on Telemundo live, and they're recording this stuff and everything. And he's got a cigar in his hand. And so the announcer's talking to him, the whole 9 yards, and it's all in Spanish, but I know a little bit, and my wife. And he's sitting there talking about it, and the announcer goes, hey, is that a cigar in your hand? He goes, yeah, this is the Madre Tierra. It's a Habano. I'm from Cuba, and this is a Habano wrapper. And he was talking about it, and he goes, I just want to announce to the world right now that I'm endorsing this cigar.
Wow.
And we were like, cool, right on the TV right then. It was amazing. So now
it's like free advertising right there. It's like,
So we're actually making the ring is going to be his championship belt.
Yeah. So you're going to make another cigar for him.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and he's putting the logo right there on the championship belt. I mean, who else?
Man,
John, your was it your cousin? I think, like from the Houston Astros. We sent
my wife's cousin is married to a pitcher on the Houston Astros, and this is his rookie year. He's up and down right now because being a rookie, but they love him. He'll be on the roster for the playoffs, and in the off season, he said that he'll endorse the cigars, and we figured we'll do that in the Houston market.
Yeah,
and we're gonna put his picture on it, and kind of like Ike, with what's his name,
Mike Shannon from Denver Broncos?
No, Ike, the football player.
Ike from the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, from the Steelers, right.
I'm trying to think of the guy, Howie G.
Howard G cigars, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and Ike is his like brother, and he's this big Pittsburgh Steeler and stuff and everything, and he's got cigars that he actually smokes. We're going to do the same thing with Ronel Blanco is his name. He's a pitcher for the Astros. And then we got to
just don't use the word Blanco cigar on it.
Yeah, no. Right.
that could get you in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, no way.
So we actually he kind of spilled the beans a little bit, but we actually have cigars with Mike Shanahan right now from the Denver Broncos. And it's in the process. We might be able to do some work with him because he just paired up a tequila line with a big country singer, and we're trying to get.
Not mention no names yet.
And you guys are not getting any sleep, man. Based on what you're talking, this is all things that you have to keep these pots on the fire.
Yep.
And this is all since January, and Jake's only been on board for probably 5 or 6 weeks. So I've been doing a lot of work and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Getting this all set up, and it's all coming together slowly but surely, but it's coming together.
So Jake, you're sure. Between the two of you, you've obviously been smoking cigars a much longer time.
Yes,
so
sir.
as this journey continues, are you going to get your hands involved in the blending of future cigars, start learning and talking to the blenders about, this is what, understanding what the leaves impart upon you and how to create recipes? Have you considered doing that as part of this company?
Oh, yes, sir. Like everything I do, I like to get down in the dirty, right? I want to know everything about the business, from us putting the seed, into the ground, when's the best time to plant. And like I said, I mean, the company Equadom, right? I learned that we can only harvest the tobacco 6 months out of the year. And then there's an off season, right? So in the Dominican, when they have soil conservation and they can't harvest the soil, that's why we have the fields in Ecuador, so that we have 100% tobacco year round. So there's a science behind it. And then also the blends, like you'd mentioned, I mean, we have 5 right now, right? We have five blends right now, but we're looking to introduce Connecticut, I think in the next couple of weeks, right? Yes. So that'll be, right now we have Rosado, which is pretty close to a Connecticut, but getting into that. And then we're also looking at maybe doing like a barber pull, maybe around the Christmas holidays. So yeah, I mean, there's so many things you can do with it. So many places to learn. I mean, like when I learned about bourbon and everything else, I mean, I just fell in love with it. The science behind it, just everything about the industry I want to know, just not only from the business end, but also from the manufacturing end, right? And then how you can pair it up.
And plus the hardest thing is her brother. He puts a lot of work in this, and he's so proud. And not to put nothing down, he takes criticism on his cigar hard. And I know sometimes that's good and sometimes that's bad, but he does have a good smoke. Everybody seems to like it. I've had a few people don't like it, of course.
Not for everybody.
I work for Delta Airlines, and there's people that complain about being on Delta.
Steve Soccer will tell you his cigars aren't for everybody.
Exactly.
It's great cigars, but not everybody.
So I don't want to hurt his feelings, and so I just leave it go. And we got a master roller from Arturo Fuente. He's worked 45 years. He had 27 years with them. It was funny. They did a convention down there last year, and this guy was rolling cigars as a demonstration. When he got done, he went and sat in the corner. Her brother walked over and said, "Hey, why don't you come work for me?" And he told him, "No, I got 27 years with Arturo Fuente. You can't afford me." He goes, "Give me a number." So the guy said, "Ha!" He threw a number out there, and he goes, "Good, you start tomorrow." So now we're getting this broker thing going. And if we get a deal with one of these two brokers, her brother has got 10 guys lined up right now, ready to come to work. Wow. So we only got one guy because we don't have the volume yet. but I got about 50,000 cigars down there in humidor right now. And the guy's rolling. He does 300 cigars a day.
Yeah, that's about the limit they can do. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and he's really good. He's a nice guy. He does it.
You have one roller. He bunches and rolls, or you got a punchero and a roll?
No, we got a punch. Yeah, we got all the other stuff.
They have a pair,
all
right?
the girls, all the stuff. Yeah, we got all that stuff. He just does the final.
So I'm going to go back to Jake for a second. Being a cigar enthusiast that you are, what is your what really addresses your palate? What flavor notes do you like best in a cigar?
So I like
and do any of these cigars hit your palate precisely, or would you want to have a cigar that gives us what you're about to say?
Yeah, so I've always liked Dominican cigars. I think that's probably been my go-to. A big fan of La Gloria. I've smoked a lot of those, Monte Cristo, so on. But I think with mine, like I said, I think I started off with the San Andreas, and that one really kind of hit it off with me. I really like kind of the spiciness. You kind of get some of the earthy tones, and like I said, it just kind of popped in my mouth, and I really enjoyed that one. But then when I got to the Habano, and I met with John and he gave me the Habano, that one kind of took my breath away. I was like, man, this is a really good cigar. And from then, I've actually been enjoying the Corojo.
But I'm not talking about your cigars directly. I'm saying you personally. What is your, if you were to create the perfect cigar for you, what are the notes? Like, for instance, when I created my 60th birthday cigar, I kind of laid out.
I remember that. I had one of those.
Right? They were badass. I should recreate.
They were good.
Okay. And I knew precisely the blend I wanted. So I told the factory what it was. And I also told the factory that this is what I believe this is going to taste like. And I told them the notes I expected to get out of the cigar based on those leaves that I said to put in it, in both the wrapper, the binder, and the fillers. In your mind, what are the flavor notes that you would really want to have a cigar, sit back and say, this cigar is got your signature on it?
I think I like a good full body cigar. So it would have to have, those rich and creamy notes. I think that's what I would go for. Something that just kind of, smoked evenly. I can put it down. I don't necessarily have to relight it a whole lot, walk away, come back, and just really enjoy, the creaminess of that cigar. For a cigar that can burn all the way through, I can walk away, come back. Cause me, I'm an Energizer bunny. I walk away for a minute, come back. I just want to pick it up and I want it to taste the same. And I think that would be, that's what I would like to design into my cigar, a cigar that I can put down, walk away, come back, and it just tastes just as nice from the moment I lit it.
You like chocolate notes?
Yeah, I do.
Nuances. Yeah. I'm talking to nutty, chocolate, cream.
Exactly. The nuttiest, the creamy, the more the full body. I like that little bite. I like that spiciness. Yep. I do like the broadleaf. I was getting ready to say broadleaf.
Got that one.
Where are you? Where are you on floral?
On floral? It really doesn't matter,
Yeah, because really the Dominican cigars, a lot, especially some of the Pilato, it tends to have that floral note to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't really pick that up too much in the cigars, though, and at least not the ones, not the ones that I've smoked.
Not the ones that I've smoked for our brand. Mm-hmm. I don't like that earthy taste.
Right.
And it really bothers me if it tastes like, earth, the dirt,
like dirt.
Yeah, that's and I'm not putting anybody down, but
that's a personal
country is really strong on that earthy taste, and I just don't care for it at all. And they got beautiful cigars, great prices, but I just can't do that earthy taste.
So would you be open to in the future doing maybe sourcing leaf from somewhere like Nicaragua to add into a blend? I mean, there's
we right now, like our let me look here because it's getting dark, and I'm sitting outside. We do leaves. The San Andreas comes from Mexico. Yes. Our broadleaf comes from Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Our Cubano or Habano, the Habano leaf, comes from Ecuador.
Right.
And we have another one from Ecuador, and then we got the Dominican. If we get like you said, you had your own line. If you wanted to do something, I'm sure Lizzo could get it started. If it worked, he would produce it. he's open to anything. He likes to make money. And that's the whole,
who doesn't?
The whole thing. Yeah. So this whole thing started off. We only had one cigar. We started off with the San Andreas, and now we're getting ready to do our sixth cigar. Now we're going to slow down a little. I don't want to go too crazy, but we're going to go to the 6x60s around January, and then we're gonna go from there.
Yeah, 6x60s. Don't go any bigger than that because
no. We did some. I had a guy that wanted the 7x70s, and so
like one of these.
Yeah. He made me 10. He made me 10 of them.
And I'll take that on the Harley, though. Might hold up.
These belong on an animal. They're so big. I mean, how can you enjoy that thing? It was crazy.
And it takes a lot of skill on the part. When you think about rolling, bunching. Bunching, not the rollero. The bunching. To craft a cigar, two hardest cigars to craft are the Lanceros.
Yep.
Because there's so little leaf in it, they got to get it right all the time.
Right. Yep,
and these huge cigars, these big ring gauge cigars, because that takes special people to be able to do that right. Because if you don't get that fill laid in there just right and bunched just right, it's gonna burn awkward. And most importantly, when you go in, even when you get to the 60s, obviously you want to sell them to people to smoke 6x60s, because if somebody's smoking, Toros, Robustos, or Coronas, and they smoke a 6x60, they're not going to be happy. They never are, because it doesn't, they're not puffing it right. You got to adjust your whole process on how you smoke that particular ring gauge. But the 7x70s are just,
it's a crazy cigar. I wouldn't have the market for it. I don't want to waste my time with it.
You could make one of these,
Oh my goodness.
You've been to Cancun.
That's a gift. There. That was a gift from Steve from Ashes.
Yeah.
Remember Steve?
Yep, I did.
Yeah, he gave me that when he closed the store. He dropped it off for me.
Yeah, I remember your birthday bash though at Executive. That was a lot of fun, man.
Did we not have a great freaking time?
That was great. The cigars were awesome, man. I remember your label on the cigars. That was the coolest thing, man. I really enjoyed that. Maybe one day I'll have that, right?
We need to go to Executive, because even Dan from Don Poncho said that's his favorite place to go to.
Yeah,
I tell you,
we gotta go.
We did that party.
That was a good party.
I remember talking to the whole team, and I said, okay, I'm going to bring a band in, and they're like, no, it's going to be too loud, and this.
Yeah, it's a small place.
And I looked at Tony, and I said, this band plays at Jamba Juice on Sundays, and they know how to tone it down so it's not loud. Even the drummer knows how to play lighter. And he didn't believe me until they came in, and they did a great job. They absolutely were not loud.
Yeah, that was a hell of an event. Yeah.
And it was. Yeah, the after event was even better. We ended up all going to the to the hotel on 192 and hanging out, sitting outside outside the pool area. And I said, hey, who wants some whiskey? I got lots of whiskey in SUV.
It's a good time for sure. Good times.
Yeah, if you're gonna celebrate 60, you do it the right way, because you're not gonna do it again. I don't
think
65 is gonna be.
I got that coming up. My 60th is coming in March.
Well, there you go. We'll talk to boss of Jimmie, because he threw a hell of a party for his 60th, man, and it was in a good venue and good friends. I mean, we had the whole neighborhood there. I think it was.
We did. It was great, and it was everybody. It was all paid for. Everybody got free drinks.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun.
Free food, free drinks, free band, and it was open to the public. They had anybody else who didn't have a ticket had to pay, get the band. They had to pay, but they got the band for free. It was like my donation to the party.
Heck yeah.
And that's how you do it, man. Because
exactly.
You're not gonna hit 60 again, and believe me, the older we get, we're not gonna be doing it at that level, most likely. Maybe when I'm 75, I'll have a party and I'll just sit back and just watch all the youngins get drunk.
I keep telling my dad that he's 83. I keep waiting for him to slow down, but he's at the VFW every day drinking.
No,
every single day.
That's an easy place to do it, man. They're cheap there.
Nice. Well, I don't. I changed my lifestyle dramatically when I went on my weight loss program, climbing the mountain, doing all the stuff that I did, and I get on that scale 3 times a day. I swear to God, I'm obsessive with it, and I'm like, I see it tick. If it ticks above 192, I am not drinking any alcohol for like 4 days. Because I know the alcohol is a big part of the problem. It's not good for you overall anyways, the older we get. So I really lowered that consumption down dramatically. And then just eating right and exercising right and just staying in shape.
Yes, sir.
I refuse to go back to that other guy I knew. When I go look at some of my pictures on my Facebook.
Nah, man. Isn't it amazing? You look 100%, right? That's why I said I think I'm in the better health I've ever been in my life, man.
And hey, man.
Hey, if you have one vice, though, you know, I wouldn't.
Come on, I smoke 3 or 4 of these a day easily.
Hey, exactly.
And I climbed a 13,000-foot mountain, and there were people who said I'd never make it to the top because of the oxygen problem. I'm like going, cigars aren't the problem, guys.
No.
Okay, this is not like smoking cigarettes. This is not,
right. You don't inhale them, right? You enjoy the cigar. You
enjoying it like a good glass of wine or a pinch of scotch. You're just letting it roll on your palate. You just that's it. It's just relaxation, and people just got to get on top of that.
You know, and really, I heard, I think for a good fine cigar, it's past at least 200 hands before it hits your lips, right? So there's a lot.
100 sets of hands from planting the seed to boxing them and sending them to the States, and then even in the States. So you just add those up. Think about how many people touch this and how many people are employed in this. How many, I mean, that's why you cannot hurt this industry, because there is so many people dependent on us enjoying this product.
But I think that's what I love about the industry too. I mean, there's so much history there and so much passion there. I mean, who wouldn't want to be part of something, you know, with such a strong lineage, you know, and such a strong history. It's just wonderful to hear all the different stories and all the different families and meeting all the different folks, you know, and really enjoying that moment. That's why I said, you know, you don't smoke a cigar, you enjoy it, and you really take that time for yourself, you know, to sit back and kind of just take a breather from the outside world and just take a moment for yourself and just kind of have that moment with somebody. And who better to share it with than somebody else that kind of shares that passion, right? So that's right. It's a wonderful lifestyle.
That's what's nice with me. I got a smoker here. My wife, she'll be like, "You want to smoke a cigar?" She's like, she won't come out here and smoke it by herself. She's like, "Come on, let's go." She likes doing everything with me. So
and you guys just started smoking cigars. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's we smoke together. She goes on all the trips with me. I take her with me. I don't count her out or nothing, because if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be in this business.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's the backbone. Even though it's family, she does a lot of work on this stuff for us. A lot. And we go to the events. It's even better because she's Latino. She's around. We tease all the time. We were at smoke rings, and I said she's got 3 boyfriends here already. And they're all like in their 70s and 80s and stuff and everything. But she goes over there. They buy her wine. They buy her a cigar. And they all sit over there and talk to her and everything, and she has a ball. She does.
So Jake, you're a big fishing guy. You just caught this massive cobia yesterday.
Yeah, I don't know about massive, but it was a keeper.
It's a keeper. I don't know. What's that? What's the smallest?
They just changed the rules. I think you got to be 36 inches to the fork now, and we know that because we got stopped by FWC while we were out there. So they made sure we had the right one on the boat.
How long was this one?
36 and a half.
36 and a half, right?
Yeah. I had to step on that tail a little bit, man. 36 and a half. We just got done eating it. It was delicious.
I bet.
We blackened it and grilled it. We had a buddy of mine that went on the fishing trip with me, Tom from the VFW. We took the day off on Friday, decided to go fishing because they said the report was good. We got out there. It's always opposite what they say. But we went out there and we gave it a shot, caught some live bait. And we got us a cobia, hooked up on some nice dolphin and stuff. So yeah, he had a 1-year-old daughter birthday today, so we decided to grill up some of that cobia, and we fried some of it too for everybody else and did some pulled pork. It was a good time. But yeah, it was nothing better than catching it fresh and enjoying it, right?
What kind of fight does that put up?
Oh man, I think we fought. I think for a good hour, and it wasn't so much the fight; it was getting him to eat the bait. I think we wasted about five bait fish on him, some live bait fish, because he didn't want squid or anything. He was picky eater, swimming around the boat. I mean, even when the FWC pulled up, I think we were trying to get them to catch it for us because he just didn't want to eat on nothing. But finally, we got him close enough where we could gaff him, throw him in the boat. So yeah, we didn't come back empty-handed, and of course, we enjoyed it. So. Good stuff. And now duck season's coming up, so that'll probably be the last trip for a while, and then I think hunting season starts up. Duck. Yeah, next week.
Where do you go for duck?
Right here, we go on the St. John's. So I think we're going to try right out here at Lake Florence, right on the other side of 95 there. So we have a mud boat, and we go out there. Actually, again, I don't think anybody at the VFW did duck hunting or anything until I got there. Now everybody's got a mud boat and shotguns. And so we kind of made a thing of it. I think we got an armada going out next weekend. We just got done gator hunting a couple weeks ago in Lake Washington. Got 2 gators there. And so, yeah, just keep it
pretty easy to get the gators in Lake Washington, man.
Yeah, they're everywhere, right? Yeah. So, but yeah, it's too bad we can only keep 2 on one tag. But some of the guys are going out tonight, as a matter of fact, down to Fellsmere in Indian River
told
County.
People that, when it comes to, if you want to get rid of bodies in the state of Florida,
yeah, right there.
You just throw bodies into Lake Washington and then just put a little sugar on it and they're gone.
You don't even need that. The stinkier, the better. They'll come get them.
Unbelievable how many are out there.
Yep. Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, I wish they would open up that season a little longer, but
you ought to go down and go. You ought to go down to the glades and go pick some snakes next.
Yeah, I heard that I have some old buddies that, they actually make a living doing that, catching them, right? People keep them and they let them go and they become a nuisance species. And so they'll go out there and take pythons and all sorts of stuff. And
my son, when he was in high school, his biology teacher, her husband ran on I think it was on Animal Planet, History Channel, one of those. He was the guy who was part of the Python Hunters, the original one, way back in the day. And he would go down there and he would pull, when they were really just beginning the infestation, and he would go down there and they'd pull out these pythons. They just drive along the road and you see stuff. You don't even have to go out in the water, man. They're just there. You see them and they got to put, 30 feet. Yanking this ginormous snake.
And I don't want to get the wrong idea out there. We're not just out there, I gotta go kill something. No, it helps, keep the population down, because it really will get out of control. And even like duck season, like, how can you shoot a duck? Well, let me tell you, that is probably the most federally regulated hunting there is. And it's very expensive. It's tough to get into. And by the time duck season is over in February, after the last veterans only hunt in February, we're whipped. Every weekend we're up at 2-3 o'clock in the morning. So don't worry about neighborhood watch, because we're already up and we're back hopefully, but we're done.
So when you use I'm not a hunter, right? Yeah. But when you say you use a shotgun, so you're using pellet?
Yeah, we actually we have to use steel. So we have to use steel BBs.
Steel BBs. So
can't use lead.
You hit a duck with this. Is it lidded with pellets when you get it?
Mm-hmm. No, not really. No, it really just kind of knocks them out of the air, and then kills them, when they impact. But it's it's tough. It's very hard to hunt. These jokers, they have excellent vision. So just stay in camouflage in the boat. And you have to be really accurate.
And you got to recover these. You're recovering them in the water.
Right. And that's the hard thing.
You ain't got the dog that runs out and gets the duck and brings it back to you.
Hey, we were just talking about that, right? There's so many gators down here. That'd be cruel to throw a dog in that water. Because if you don't get your ducks fast enough, like we'll shoot our limit. We might get half of the harvest, because by the time we take down the line and go round up some of the ducks, if we don't get them, ricky ticky quick, you'll see your duck kind of floating away and then slowly migrate beneath the dark water there, because the gators are everywhere, and they'll take about half the crop.
They're just loving you guys.
Oh, they love us. Yep. Especially when you can't find one. They're well fed.
I don't know, man. Maybe you ought to put the duck season and the gator season together.
Yeah, right. For sure. Kind of thin it out where we got at least a fair chance of keeping some of what we shoot.
That way you could get the damn duck out of the gator, and you get
I
the
tell you.
gator.
Yeah, I tell you, and still until the northern ducks start migrating down here to the south, until it starts getting cooler down here. These teals, this early teal season, I mean, these jokers, they're small. They fly about Mach 3 when they go by you. So, I mean, you can be sitting out there for hours and only get one crack at them, So it's a demoralizing. It's like golf, It's a demoralizing sport. You'll be out there all day. I'm the best hunter. Oh, no, I shot 2, never got 1.
You have a few beers and you come home.
Hey, I smoked some good cigars, and we had a good time just sitting in the duck boat laughing at each other all day.
There you go.
It's good times for sure.
John, you do any hunting?
I used to do bow hunting. My father was president of archery range when we were growing up, and my mom won second in the state of Ohio. And so I was like a little Robin Hood. I came along and we shot bow. I got like 25 deer with a bow.
Crossbow?
Huh?
Crossbow?
No, I used a recurve.
Okay.
And, yeah, we did recurves and stuff and everything. And I went into the compounds later, but most of my hunting was done with a recurve. And it's more of a challenging sport. You gotta wash your clothes a certain way. You can't put a certain perfume on or deodorant or whatever. It's real technical because them deer, they got excellent smell.
You can't smoke a cigar and hunt a deer.
Light. They can see. You can't put your clothes in the dryer because of all the particles from the dryer.
Yep.
They see that ultraviolet light. So you got to. All my shrubs had all my camouflage gear hanging on it, drying, and
wow,
it's a whole technique too. Just like the duck hunting, it's a whole different world. You can't drink. You can't drink as much because you sweat. You sweat the alcohol. Deer smell it.
Yeah, you don't realize how hard it is.
I know my mother's family. They were from upstate New York, and they had a hunting lodge there. And my older brother would always go up with my grandfather, and they go deer hunting. And the thing is that they would go up there, and they had their own lodge, and they would put out apples and stuff, and before the hunting season, right? And the big buck would come over and be eating the thing, and they'd sit there, they just hang out in the lodge and watch and, find out what's in the area. And the first shot of the season, they're gone. They're nowhere to be found. Those deer aren't stupid. They're like, thanks for feeding me, but we'll wait till the season's over and we'll come back and eat apples again. And then they get another antler the next year. Yep, I made it through that season.
Yep.
And it's funny on the deer because I hunted in 2 places in Jersey. I hunted up north, and it was basically overgrown pastures and everything. And the deer tasted different. I was hunting down close to my house towards Trenton, New Jersey, and I was hunting off a soybean field. And the deer that ate the soybeans, oh my God, it was immaculate tasting.
So it was more sweet, a little more sweet and succulent than the gamey deer that you might get up in the.
Perfectly said. Yep, perfectly.
Yeah. You ever eat rattlesnake?
No, I haven't. But I lived in the Philippines for 3 years. And I ate a lot of weird. I ate a lot of weird things in the Philippines. Some of the stuff I don't even know what I ate. I actually ate duck eggs called balut. I had bat. Dog. You can't let your dog outside. Yeah. Can't let your dog outside.
I have a real problem.
Kill it and hang it and cook it.
I got a real problem with that. I know there's a lot of Latin American countries that they don't look at dogs like we look at dogs.
We were on a bus and we stopped at a cantina and we went in and it was like all you could eat. They fixed me a plate. I ate this whole plate. I was married at the time. I said, "Hey, go get me another plate." She went and got another plate. We got on the bus and she's like, "So how was the perro?" And I'm like, "What's perro?" She goes, "Dog." And I was like, "I guess it's pretty good because I ate 2 plates of it."
That's like I was in France. You go to France and they eat horse.
Yeah.
Right. And we had crossed over from the German border into the French zone. And we went into this little town right across the border into this little tavern. And we were sitting there and I ordered, and it's like, I had horse meat burger. And, we look at a horse as it's almost like a dog, right? It's like a pet and a work it's a work animal,
work
but
animal,
it's
right.
also like a pet, you know, and it's a smart, intelligent animal.
Exactly.
And they
It's a
look
family
at it
member.
like, yeah, over there it's like, no, that's food,
we eat 'em.
man. That's a lot of food, man. That horse can feed a lot of people in the family.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
true.
You know, we don't look at it that way. You know,
Nope. That's why I love being American.
the only thing is, I always felt that manatee tasted too much like chicken.
Oh man, makes a good Whopper too. That big tail. Hopefully, nobody from FWC is watching right now.
Nah, I would say, you know, I can't imagine, you know, you would think the Indians, the native Indians back, you know, centuries ago that lived in this area where we live, that had to be like buffalo out west, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm sure they
there's
did.
the sea cow right there.
Yeah.
They don't move very fast.
I'm pretty sure if you go down to the Seminole Casino there down,
I
want to say the one in Brighton, they got pictures of it. I'm pretty sure I saw some manatee strung up on those old black and white photos.
Oh, just grab a spear. I'd have to think it's got to be kind of wet.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's got to be rubbery. Maybe like, I don't know what it tastes like, you know.
I can imagine it's probably like a whale. They probably use the oil for all sorts of different things and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, cooking, there's got to be something. I mean, the Eskimos did
I'm sure they used every part of that animal because
that might be worth a Google. Yeah, might be worth a Google. Might have to look that up. There's got to be a history behind it. I'm sure.
Don't look up too much. FWC is going to watch it.
Exactly. They're probably watching.
This guy Jake, we stopped him.
Yeah,
exactly. Now he's out there looking for a fucking manatee.
Now he's got the harpoon out there. Exactly. Yeah. Look at this thing. Wouldn't doubt it.
Unbelievable. So good. So you guys have moved along. You are, like you said, you know, you told me the other day that you feel like you guys are one of the fastest growing new companies out there.
That's what we've heard.
I took it with a grain of salt because I kind of, you know a lot of companies, new companies, and I hear the stories. But your story, man, is with the connections and what you've been doing is, you guys are, you know, ready to burst out. Now, are you going?
Small budget.
Are you going to go to Vegas this year, TPE or PCA?
Yeah, so that's actually something that I was looking into, and I think there's another one too, right down in Miami. I think West Palm this year. Are you going
to get into the Boutique Cigar Association?
Yeah, I was looking into that too. Like I said, just kind of
contact Gabby Caffey. Contact Gabby Caffey.
Okay.
Get involved in that. That's going to be in Homestead this year in
my old town.
Okay. I will be there for that event this year. I'm looking forward to it. And that's a great group of people. You know, they're doing a good thing. They worked their way into it, took time to get recognized for what their mission is. And they've been recognized by the PCA as a legitimate association to deal with small brands. Perfect. And bringing into market. So a lot of people there to work with, a lot of connections. I think that would be an awesome event for you to get involved in.
Oh, heck yeah. Be honored. That'd be awesome. Yeah. If you can give me his name and give me his information, I'll reach out to him for sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
You know, get a membership, get a membership in it, be part of it, be active in it. At the PCA, they actually have their own pavilion. Okay. So they have all the brand owners in one pavilion area. So when retailers come around, they can hit this one spot, which are all part of the BCA membership brands. So, and they always get a decent placement. Like this year, they got this really decent placement right next to some of the big guys. So the traffic kind of meandered right around them. So I heard good things. I wasn't there, unfortunately. I was climbing a mountain.
Yeah, I know. I heard about that. I saw the pictures, man. I was following you. That was pretty cool.
It was mentally and physically challenging. Yeah. I'm gonna say it was probably one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life.
Where'd you go?
I went up Mount Fuji, and this is
I was gonna say, there she is.
my walking stick.
Yep.
So right there, these are all the stamps.
That's awesome.
So I've flown around it a couple times.
Yep. So these stamps right here, each level, there's a station, and you go in there, and there's this guy with a hot stamp and a hot
cool.
iron, and they
Yeah.
burn it right into your stick. And then at the very end of it, this side here, so that one right there is the summit. That's the summit stamp to say you made it to the top.
That's
nice.
awesome.
Nice. That's cool.
So this will be also when I start continuing my martial arts. We do, you know, weapons.
Yep.
So we do staffs. This is going to be my staff.
Oh,
I'll use this. I'll start to learn how to spin it, do the whole, you know, thing.
there you go.
I'll make good use of it. Trust me.
There you go. Look out.
Nobody has a staff like this that I've seen yet. Even
Awesome.
the guys that do the karate, the Japanese karate, don't have a Fuji staff.
Exactly.
So
but it's awesome because it tells a story too, right? So there's history behind it.
That's right.
It has meaning. That's cool. That is awesome. Good stuff. Yeah, I'm actually looking that up right now. Boutique Cigar Association. Yeah, we'll get on board with that. So that's a great plug. I appreciate the heads up.
Definitely do that. And then there are some other things coming up. There's also the Miami Herf.
Yep. That's the one I was talking about. Yep.
Okay. So I usually go to that one every year too.
Okay.
So that's always a fun event to attend. And then the Heritage Festival, obviously, in Tampa, you know, is good to have presence. They draw a pretty decent crowd going through there. You'll be kind of selling direct to consumer at that point.
Okay.
And just keep looking around and finding places. Get yourself connected with like a cigar Mike up in Atlanta.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
and for sure.
He has Cigar Mike events all the time.
Yep.
And, you know, you never know what he could bring to the table.
Yeah,
I need to give him a call because I lived 18 years in Atlanta.
Yeah,
I know Atlanta's pretty good. So
there's over 100 lounges in Atlanta.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. I was like, holy smokes! Yeah, I mean, it's saturated.
We're gonna have to go spend a whole week in Atlanta.
Yeah, and I've been to some nice speakeasies up there. It's a pretty cool place to hang out. But talk about the. Let's see, we were just on iHeartRadio too, right, John? With Cigar Hacks. Cigar Hacks. I don't think we mentioned them yet, so big plug out to them. Yeah, they actually rated our Habano, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Habano.
Yep.
They Nurse Rick gave us a 9.0. They're really hard. Yep. And they only got like 10 cigars in the 9 range. He gave us a 9, but overall we got an 8.7.
Okay.
And, for like I said, our first line of cigars, we're doing okay. We're doing good.
Yeah.
We're getting exposure. And actually we walk into smoke rings the other night and people were coming up saying thank you for the cut and smoke. We enjoyed your cigars. We're buying more. And they recognized us.
Yeah.
And the recognition is kind of cool because, you know, we're starting to get a little bit of recognition. So.
Pretty cool. And being here with you, Boston Jimmie. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
Grand Slam, right? Grand Slam.
You know what? And you just keep it going, man. You know what?
Come on.
I always like to say that sometimes, you know, my show, I bring in some small companies like yourselves, introduce them to my audience, or somebody in my audience talks to somebody else. And you know, you'll find yourself on the book tour before you know it.
Awesome.
You know, you get others. You know, I would think, you know, definitely get some stuff sent out to people like Cigar Coop. Okay, I love what Coop does. You know, great colleague of mine. He's been doing this longer than I have, and you know, he's tough on his stuff, but his palate's very similar to mine.
Yeah.
So from a flavor perspective, he'll probably pick up similar notes. I concentrate. My points you lose sometimes is on construction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Unless it's
but that's all good feedback. I mean, that's what we're looking for, right? We want honest feedback because that's the only way to improve. So
yeah, because I believe a cigar is like you said, it's an enjoyable product. You want to sit back for that hour and a half, have relaxation. So
yes, sir.
You don't want a cigar that gets flaky ash.
Right.
Like even the Habano, the first half had a nice burn going through it, and then it started, once the ash dropped, it started to get a little jagged, and then the ash started getting flaky on me. And That's a pet peeve of mine. I don't like flaky ashes because they get all over me. And if I'm wearing a nice shirt, okay, and I'm sitting there smoking that cigar, the ashes, I'm not talking about the ash dropping. I'm just talking about the flakes are getting on you doing this. And if you're wearing a white shirt and it gets on you like that, God damn it.
Man, I ruined a shirt.
And you just like, so that's something to look into as to what's causing that. Just talk, you talk to you guys, say, hey, why does this happen? Okay.
Right.
And sometimes maybe there's a humidification factor, maybe
it's probably that, because that's me. I messed up a lot of that stuff. I'm learning. I got 12 foot by 12 foot humidor in the house. And
but I take your stuff.
It's a lot of work.
I take everything I get. I put in my humidor. Jake's seen it. It goes in.
It's nice.
It's electronically controlled temperature and humidity. I keep things in there, and then of course I don't just have an advertiser for it, but I actually use this meter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
To test the foot of the cigar. So I want to make sure it's around 67. Okay, in that range. Now there are brand owners that will tell you, like Romacraft, Skip Martin. He actually likes to smoke his cigars a little drier than what most would smoke them at. He says they smoke better. And I'm like, that's an interesting comment, because different cigars probably smoke better at certain humidity levels.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to see a brand, and I tell this to others, you could be the first one, somebody else might be the first one, because I told this to others. If you know that your cigar smokes best at 65%, 62%, 70%, you know that, okay? You should know that. And then put it on your box, best smoked at 63% humidity.
Nice.
Okay, because you know that cigar is going to smoke the way it was meant to be smoked, as opposed to what a consumer does. It puts it in a box
70,
with
70,
a 68%, 69% humidipack, and everything's 69%. Maybe that cigar doesn't smoke as good as 69%.
It's good.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
things I need to learn.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it. That's good stuff.
Out to that factory and learn more, man. I'd love to come down with you sometime and check it
out.
Yeah. And hey, when you come down, I got a 3-bedroom apartment down there. You got a place to stay.
Now, wait a second. Now
look at that.
Now it's easy, right?
Yeah, talking to the right people now.
Not that it's expensive. Not that it's expensive to stay in places like Santiago, but a 3-bedroom apartment is always pleasurable.
Yeah, I got a RAV4 down there. Me and the wife bought a RAV4, so we got transportation, we got the apartment, and we got all the cigars that we can smoke.
So So now that you're full-fledged into the cigar business, I guess the one question that people aren't asking on the feed, but I'll ask anyway: what are you doing about swag? Everybody loves swag.
Go ahead, John.
So what's your swag game?
Okay, I got great swag.
All right, let me put you on spotlight here.
What we did for smoke rings the other night when we did, because Lou told us, these guys come in and they have lighters and they have cutters and maybe a baseball cap. So I own an embroidery business, and we did our logos, nice logo for the shirts, and we do the different colors for the different labels and stuff. So I embroidered some really nice moisture wicking polos. And I did a large, an extra large, and a 2X. And we let everybody that came in that bought 3 cigars got to put their name in whatever size they wanted. That went over so well. My father, I bought him a laser machine for Christmas. And a buddy of mine owed me some money, and he paid me off, and humidors. And I took them. They're brand spanking new in the boxes and everything. So I took 2 humidors, and I put Madre Tierra across the top, and across the bottom we put Smoke Ring 72 logo on the bottom, and I filled them up with cigars. And the people that came in, when they saw that, nobody left until the drawing, and we saved the drawing to the end on those. Nobody left because they wanted that humidor with those cigars, and it was awesome. Then we gave a couple torch lighters away, the big torch lighters like this. We gave the big ones away.
Yeah, don't give that to people.
That's what I said.
Please don't give that to people because they're going to destroy your cigar with that. You know, you watch these guys.
And then Lou my wife was sitting there, and Lou goes, "Well, I order pizzas when I do the food." My wife's like, "Ha! I'm Dominican. I don't eat pizza. Don't worry about it, Lou. I'll bring the food." So my wife brought Dominican food. We had 4 big things of food, and it started at 5. We took the aluminum foil off the top of them at 5 o'clock, and at 5:30 we were out of food.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So Lou was like, "You guys just blew this place up tonight." He's like, "I didn't have to do nothing. You controlled everything. It was nice." We're going to do the lighters, and we're going to do the cutters that come with us and stuff and everything. It's just all about getting things done. We're so stressed right now.
Yeah, and everybody loves the logo, right? So I mean, all our stuff, of course, will have the Madre Tierra logo on it. So
yeah, the guys last night that came in from the bar we're going to on Thursday.
Yeah, the Georgian Dragon. Yep.
Yeah, they actually said when they walked in, what caught his eye was our logo.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh my God, your logo is just totally awesome." So I
imagine we'll brand all our swag with the logo for sure until you see the big yacht out there with Madre Tierra on the side, or the Falcon jet with it on the tail. That'll be coming later.
So let's briefly talk about the logo and one other topic that I now that we're talking this, it just came to mind. I'm going to just share this for everybody to see. All right. So this is all right. Now, by the way, when you're going to finish it, number one.
John can hit that up. It's
coming. We'll get to that in a minute, right? So you've got this beautiful logo, and it is a beautiful logo that you have here. And all I could say is you come through your website, and what I find interesting about your website, and also a little confusing, is you got, large scale grow operation, premium raw leaf selection. And basically this is coming out of Equadom Tobacco, branded over to Madre Tierra, is where when you run it, he says you link back over to this. I would think you'd want to have a site that really talks Madre Tierra, because this is really saying, hey, if I want to get raw tobacco, I could buy it from them. But are you pushing raw tobacco or are you pushing cigars? So it's
they do both.
But I'm just saying, from a Madre Tierra brand mark, I would think you would want to cite. This is just my critical comment.
This is the first time I've seen this stuff. My son-in-law is actually doing all of our paperwork. He does all the taxations and the FDA reports and all this everything. So he has put this together. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to have like an online too.
Right.
And there's like 8 states that charge excise taxes.
Okay.
And we're trying to get all the programs and everything. So what he did is he just generically went in there. I haven't been able to proof none of this.
Yeah. So I would
he just wanted to throw some, but
I'll give you my personal critique. Okay. Just for everybody, for anybody who goes here, so they know what they're about to see. The background, I would love to see you guys, the guys that are running the company, who you are, who the principals are and stuff. That would be cool to have a picture of yourself, because right now it just kind of has a background, vision, and values. But when I try to find out about who you are, I don't really see it. So it was tough to even understand who Madre Tierra was from a gallery perspective. Again, cool, got a lot of cool pictures, processing, but again, it's all Equadom Tobacco, so it's really pushing that.
Yeah, see, he's gone in the wrong direction, and he doesn't have my guidance. He's just going.
And this doesn't have, I mean,
coming soon, right? Yeah, we haven't
mid-23.
So new, we haven't started. Yep.
We are we're in late 23. So that's not good. You don't want to have something that says that. I mean, I would change this to end of 23 or whenever you're gonna do it.
Okay.
So
I appreciate it. But
just a few things.
We actually go down there when me and the wife go down there. We actually get in the fields. We've got just hundreds of pictures of me and her in the fields, not rolling the tobacco or anything, but packaging it and put the rings on it, put it in the sleeves, putting them in the bundles of 25. We're actually working, and we got so many pictures of the warehouse of the girls, you know, pulling the stems out and all that stuff. He doesn't have any of that yet.
Okay.
Yep.
I probably dropped the bomb on this myself, you know, and I'll take the fault on this. It's just that
no fault. We're still
I'm
going.
Spread so thin
you guys are spread so thin, and
that's why he's got me here, right? We're gonna.
And there's only three of us, me, Jake, and my wife, and that's it. This whole company, and we don't have anybody. We don't have a marketing division, and we don't have a sales division and all this stuff. Everything. It's just us.
We will. It's coming. Yeah.
Yep.
Now, what are you doing about now? You currently do everything's in 5, 10, 20 count bundles. Are you going to eventually go to boxes?
We have boxes that are actually probably sitting in Miami right now. I've got the artesian bull. We had the box made exactly like theirs from the exact same company, and we got permission to use almost the exact same green, the felt liner, everything. I got 300 of those made to start us off on those, and they were pricey. Really pricey. And so we got into touch with another friend of Lizzo down there, and he made us, we got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, the sizes to hold. And we have about 350 of those coming.
Okay.
And just to test the waters, just to see where we're going to go.
Reach out to, like I said, DBL Cigars. They got a whole box factory that provides boxes to like a boatload of big brands, small brands in the Dominican. Okay, besides their own brand. So the box factory is connected to it. They partnered together on the build out of the new factories. So they have this fantastic factory. I mean, I could tell you that the first time I met these guys was years ago. I went down with Jimmie from Jimmie's Cigar Lounge.
Yeah.
And we took a trip down there because he wanted to get a house brand. And we stopped in the box factory before this main new thing happened. And I was with a friend of mine who's had his own cigar company, and he was coming out with small Coronas, and he wanted to have them in a 5-pack box. But what he wanted it with a slide top on the box, right? So it was wood, and he wanted a slide top that had, and then the 5 cigars were inside of it. So he explained to him what he wanted, and the owner says, "You guys go to lunch, and we'll put together a prototype for you." So we came back 2 hours later, and he had a prototype of this ready to go.
Oh, wow.
And it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I bet.
Okay. And so that's the kind of work that they do. They can turn stuff fast. You got ideas. They do beautiful everything from normal boxes to absolutely gorgeous. They do all the lacquering. It's a one-stop shop. Everything they do there. I have actually on my site, you can find stuff where if you look up box factory, I have videos of where they start with a 4x4 piece of cedar, and it goes through all the machining from cutting it, planing it, turning it, grooving it, boom, bam, each station. There's like 25 different stations that take it. And then finally you're in the final room where they're lacquering it and they're putting it outside and it's drying. And to watch the process is as fascinating as watching the process of curing tobacco.
And that's one of our things that me and Jake have talked about. We're actually waiting for this phone call from the New Hampshire area or the New England area for this broker. And then me and Jake were talking about like October 15th-ish, somewhere around there. We're going to Dominican, and the first thing we're going to do is this is the boxes we need, and start working on it. And we're actually going to go down together and piece this together.
Okay.
So that's a big thing. But I do have like 400 or 500 boxes that are going to be here in the next day or two to get us by for right now, and test the waters. So,
yeah, you just test these different companies, see what they can do for you, get the prices right. I was just trying to look on my site to find the.
Yeah, I sat down with John from Padoma's the other night, and on Friday. Well, it was actually last night, right, Jake? Jake, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Yep.
Yeah, Perdomo, that was last night, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Perdomo
I
event.
can't remember what I did yesterday. Oh my God.
Yep.
So he explained a lot of things to us on the presentation, the box sizes, how many inches we need for the displays, all that stuff, everything. So
yeah,
he gave us a lot of information last night. We're going to use that when we go down to Dominican.
A lot of good tips there. Yeah, and what we've been doing right now as we get them in the stores is we usually give them about 4 boxes, right? With the different brands, of course, the different types, the different blends that we have. For the display boxes, and actually most of the local shops here, we just supply them the bundles to kind of restock those boxes, right? So they don't really sell the box out directly to the customer. The box stays in the shop, and then they just replenish the cigars as they're sold individually, so that there's not a lot of waste there. So, and it's been working out so far. But yes, I mean, boxes have been kind of a big topic that we've had with Juana as well. And she showed me one the other night when we were at Cigar Rings, and it is immaculate. I was like, holy cow, that thing looks beautiful. that nice green, it really pops. So yeah, it's going to be, I mean, there's a lot of neat things coming.
And those should be here like Tuesday or Wednesday. I got a big shipment. I got 10,000 cigars and probably 400 boxes are going to be here probably by Tuesday.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So.
I can't find what I'm looking for. I'll have to find it later. Oh, here it is.
Yeah.
Here it is.
Share that information with Jake because we'll use it when we go down to Dominican together.
Yep. By far. And again, this is kind of just what I want to, I'm kind of getting back to it again. I mean, the cigar community, I mean, we're learning as we're growing, and instead of us, making a lot of those mistakes up front, it's just been just a tremendous outpouring, from support from folks like you, Boston Jimmie and Lou and other folks that we've talked to. And it's just, it's like I said, humbling, I think is probably the best word. Just internally grateful for all the support and the education, and so that we don't make those mistakes. Cause like John says, we're small, we can't really afford to make a lot of those mistakes up front as we try to keep this thing afloat and keep it going. So it's been really incredible. It's been a wonderful experience so far.
The name of this company, and this is the old factory, is Artesania Estrella. Okay. These are the guys that Kedwin and Lick Miguel.
I like the sunglasses.
These are the owners of it. All right. These are like boxes that they make. You can recognize some brands there.
Oh yeah.
All right. This is all there. They do all the boxes for LFD.
Mm-hmm. Yep. LFD, no name.
La Polina.
Wow.
Okay, Flores.
Yep.
So
nice.
They do an amazing job. And then this is like all these YouTube videos I have of like, this is, bringing in the cedar, and then they come down, they bring the boards, they finish, they sand it. I mean, you can watch these videos and it's just absolutely amazing. The process that they go through, the heat stamps to put the gold symbols on, attaching things. It just amazing what they do. So, and they're now connected, like I said, to DVL. So Estrella, Artesania Estrella, that's the box factory connection. So check them out. If anything, just you're in there. I'm sure your folks in the Dominican know exactly who they are.
Sure, I'm sure.
And if they don't know him, just mention Francisco Almonte. Okay, Francisco Almonte is the owner of DBL Cigars. They'll know Francisco. Everybody knows.
It's funny when I go through Santiago and San Bernardino, everywhere I go, I'm like, Lizzo? And they're like, oh yeah, here. And they scoot us off and put us in a nicer area, and they take care of us. Everybody knows him. So yeah,
that's good. So if he gets stopped on the road, you have a get out of jail free card.
Yeah,
that's called George Washington.
Yeah. Right?
That's how it gets you out of trouble when you're down in South America.
This is true also. But it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to have political connections also.
Yes.
In those countries.
Yeah.
Sure does. Yep. That's a fact.
All right, guys. Hey, Pepe Vidal was watching us. So
hey,
Pepe,
the man, the myth, the legend.
He didn't go fishing with you?
No, man, I don't know. Actually, you know what? He's in Nashville right now. I just saw it. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Diane just had a birthday. So yeah, they're up in Nashville. Probably tearing up the joint.
There we go.
You know, Peppy.
That's it. All right, folks. Well, that's the show. I'm going to give you guys the last word.
Oh, hey, again, Jimmie, I'll start off. Really appreciate it. Like I said, tremendous outpouring from the cigar community. But Boston Jimmie, I mean, we wouldn't be here if we didn't have support like you and Shirtless Mike and everybody. So looking for many more exciting times to come. And if we're not in the stores yet near you, we will soon. So like I said, we're coming at you and really appreciate everything you've done. Keep up fighting the good fight, and we'll keep producing fine product, so outstanding cigars for you. And again, thank you for your time. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and hope to meet you face to face very soon. Keep enjoying a good cigar.
And as far as my part goes, any of you guys out there that are watching this, if you have an event and you're looking for something new, a new vendor, we're willing to travel anywhere. On our own, we'll come out, introduce our cigar, set it up, do everything. We're just trying to get as much exposure as possible. And I got free flying through my retirement. Jake's got all his brownie points on his credit card, and we'll be there. We'll be there. We're not turning nothing down.
Yeah.
And if somebody wants somebody to come, if it's a veterans group, get a hold of me. I'll get you in reach with the guys from CVA. They do a really good job. They'll donate like towards an open bar, and they'll help pay for the cigars, and they'll come in and do it a little spiel. It's like 5 minutes. That's all the time they take up, and they'll throw a nice event for you guys.
Very good.
So,
okay, folks, that's the show tonight. Went a little longer than normal, but it's a dynamic group. So check out Madre Tierra, Mother Earth. Check it out. You're going to like these cigars. And if they don't have them in your shop, have them contact these guys, or contact me, and I'll put you in touch with them. That's for sure.
Awesome.
thanks, Jimmie.
All right, we'll see you all next week.
Jimmie. Yep. See you, buddy.
Take care.
Enjoy.
Bye-bye.
Bye.